Hello to all you beautiful people at the internet. Welcome to another cat profile, and this time we're looking at Rosita. In comics, she is Rosita Porter. She is female, her hair is dark brown, she is mid to late 20s. Before the apocalypse, she was a doctor's assistant, and after the apocalypse, she was a member of the herd duty crew. Before the apocalypse, not much is known about Rosita, except that she was probably from the Houston area. As Eugene stated, his group had come from there before meeting Rick at Herschel Green's farm. Again, I don't think these will have volume numbers, so it will just be events. On the road to Washington, details of Rosita prior to meeting Rick's group are, like her two companions, mostly unknown. Rosita, Abraham, and Eugene had been traveling from the country from Houston towards Washington, D.C., and were part of a larger group of survivors as revealed by Abraham. It was during this time of travel that Rosita had resorted to pleasuring men she met in return for protection, using her looks to survive. This practice continued until she met up with Abraham. It came as a surprise and relief to her that Abraham was not like the previous men. Ultimately, his kindness and protection made her fall in love with him, and the two soon initiated a romantic relationship, albeit strained because of Abraham's grief over the loss of his entire family. Rosita, Abraham, and Eugene were the only survivors of their traveling group by the time they made it to Herschel's farm and came across Rick and his survivors. After being confronted, Eugene tells the survivors that he knows what caused the plague, but will not disclose any information to anyone, including Abraham and Rosita, and as it is classified for surviving government officials in Washington, D.C. Rosita remained quiet during their meeting with Rick's group, unlike her two companions. Eugene's story prompted Rick's group to hostility and caused doubt, but Abraham ultimately convinced the majority of Rick's group for Eugene's credibility and their mission, and also to travel with the trio for safety in numbers because of his lack of confidence in maintaining a stationary camp. Rosita's personality and thoughts remained mostly to herself during the trip to Washington, D.C. Unlike her companions, she is relegated to a less active and important role, though she visibly seemed content with this. After Maggie Green's attempted, Rosita's importance to Abraham was explored as the former overwhelmed with emotional rage after Rick spoke back to him in response to his mistake believing Maggie was already dead. Abraham nearly killed Rick in blind anger the next day, and he confided in Rosita, telling her that no one had ever spoken to him as harshly as Rick. Rosita calmed Abraham down and offered her advice on physical comfort before she kissed him and revealed a romantic relationship between the two. Rosita was seen scarcely during the group's road trip compared to the other survivors. She accompanied Abraham through the forest while looking for Andrea and exchanged friendly conversation with Morgan and the others. On a quieter night, she had intercourse with Abraham in their truck. She acknowledged Eugene was outside watching them and seemed amused at the hope that Glenn would catch him. Like the majority of the group, Rosita was pinned down in Gabriel's church by the hunters, and she remained behind while Abraham and the other leaders took care of them. She was unharmed during this conflict, and in the aftermath, Rosita is evidently upset by Dale's burial, crying in Abraham's arms. At the Alexandria safe zone, as with the rest of the survivors, Rosita successfully travelled and made it to the safe zone. As part of the introduction to the community, she went through a private interview with Douglas, the community leader, who would decide her role. Sorry guys, really tired. Which he later revealed to Rick as a nurse training with the three doctors of the safe zone. Rosita was shown visibly happy and impressed by the community and integrated into it faster than the other group members, who were more world-weary and cautious of its safety and normality. She expressed excitement over the prospect of getting a home just for herself and Abraham, though less excited about training as a nurse as she believed she was squeamish. Rosita attended the welcoming dinner party alongside Abraham, though she tried to encourage him to mingle with others. She was content with the two reserving themselves to each other. Later, Abraham told her that he was afraid of going on the outside for a construction job, and she comforted him in his fear. It was soon revealed that Abraham had been cheating on Rosita somewhat with Holly, although it appeared to be a discreet relationship. Rosita eventually confronted Abraham with her knowledge of the affair in issue 85. She harshly dismissed Abraham's reasoning of her no longer being the last woman on earth, and also his attempt to an apology. When the safe zone walls were breached a few days later, Abraham ran and hid with her in a house, seeking safety from the zombie horde. During the safe zone breach, though the pair believed it was over, they were inspired by Michonne and Rick's attempt at clearing the horde to join the fray. Both Rosita and Abraham, along with other citizens of the safe zone, managed to fight back the horde with manageable levels and retake the safe zone. Once the safe zone was secured after the herd attack, Rosita proceeded to acknowledge that Abraham had been cheating on her and proceeds to move out of Abraham's home. She ends up going to Eugene, who had been living alone, and asks to stay with him. When asked, she tells him that she considers him to be the only friend she's got in the community. During the Savior's attack, though Eugene tried to enter a relationship with Rosita, she repeatedly denied him, saying she didn't feel for him that way, though he persisted. When Abraham visited Eugene during Rick's trip to the Hilltop colony, Eugene insulted Abraham for leaving Rosita and boasted that she preferred living and being with him. Rosita eventually came out when Abraham left and scolded Eugene, telling Abraham so, telling Eugene they were not in a relationship. When Eugene returned and the news of Abraham's death reached her, Rosita broke down in grief and confided in Eugene about her past, revealing her practice of pleasuring men in the group that they were once a part of to survive. She stated that when Abraham came, though she expected him to be like the other men, he wasn't, and she soon fell in love with him. She also told Eugene that she believed, even though he ended up lying, Abraham might have protected him regardless, like he protected her. The two comforted each other in their shared mourning of their friend, and Rosita was later seen at the funeral with Eugene, crying in his arms. Gearing up for the assault, after Rick told the community that they were going to trade with the Saviors, Rosita is seen working with Eugene and Holly trying to locate a building nearby that had equipment needed to create ammunition. Later, while going through one building, Eugene discovers that it has everything they need, earning him some praise from Rosita. After relocating to the hilltop after Alexandria fell, Rosita is shown on the balcony gathering her thoughts about Eugene's capture. Olivia joins her outside and tells her not to be ashamed of liking Eugene, adding that they are not in high school and it won't ruin her reputation of liking the fat guy. Rosita asks Olivia if she could be left alone, who bitterly complies and leaves Rosita to her thoughts. After Negan and the Saviors invade the hilltop, Rosita is seen fighting alongside her fellow survivors. God, I'm really tired. So sorry, guys. In the 4-year time jump, Rosita is seen on the Alexandria Herd Patrol, along with Jesus, Aaron, Heath, and formerly Eugene. When the patrol shows up to Alexandria with Magnus' group, she goes to the construction area for the fair riding a horse. When she sees what lack of work has been done, she's disappointed and comments on how she didn't think it'd be this bad and that the patrol was gone for 5 days. Andrea and Rosita start to ride away and start talking. They begin to speak about how the patrol steered the herd away and how its course changed rather easily. Rosita tells Andrea about the newcomers and how there were 5 of them to her surprise. Andrea later says that Rosita should talk to Eugene and she says that she knows. Rosita leaves Eugene a note saying that she'll be out late and he shouldn't wait up for her, presumably after he was done with the factory. Eventually, Eugene and Rosita are talking in their home, and Rosita is discussing that she is pregnant and the father is not Eugene. Eugene says he'll care for the child and to not tell the real father, and the two reconcile. However, Rosita is later killed by the Whisperers' leader, Alpha. Her zombified head is seen on a pike with many others marking the Whisperers' border. She is soon put down by Andrea. So that is Rosita Porta. As you can tell, her story is not that big in the comics as it is in the TV show. I apologize for the yawning. I have no idea how that's come up. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you didn't enjoy it, either leave a dislike or just go. I don't care. But if you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button so you will know every time I upload a video. If you had control of this character's fate, what would you do with it? And have a good day.